and welcome back to my channel. So in this video I want to share with you what it costs to run my multi-six-figure coaching business. Now some of the figures that I'm going to be sharing with you are for how I got started, and some of them reflect where I am now, especially growing the team and everything, which I didn't have when I first got started. But one of the questions I often get asked is, how much did it cost you to get started? What does it cost to run your business right now? And all of these things. And in fact, when I did the figures, even I am flabbergasted. I did not know how much it was costing me. And so it has been really, really eye-opening for me, to be quite honest. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. I don't want this to be all about me. I'm making it literally about the figures. But if you really want to find out how much we are making right now and how we are doing that, then I want you to check out this video where I break down our latest launch according to right now at the time of recording this specific training, where I break down exactly how we generate our revenue right now. So let's jump into the video. If you're interested in starting your own coaching business and you're not sure what to start or what you need, then I want you to keep watching. I'm going to be sharing some of the things that we do and the things that we use. And yes, I know that not everybody has the money to start these things. And I have to tell you, when I first started, I didn't have the money either. The money came later on as the business grew, and I grew as well. So don't worry. A lot of the things I will be sharing with you have alternatives, and you can do these things free so that you can start and not allow money to be a stumbling block for you. So let's get started. To do this, I am going to be using my trusted sidekick, which is my phone, where I have everything recorded so I can make sure that I am staying on my figures. I have also divided this into 5 different categories in order to be more organized so that you can understand and follow through exactly what I'm sharing with you. So category number 1 is coaching and education, and then number 2 are the tools and softwares that I use. Number 3 is hiring and team. Number 4 is accounting and finance, and number 5 are strategic partnerships. So these are the 5 core areas where we have expenses. So let's dive in. Remember, not all businesses are made equal. Your expenses are going to be different from mine, so no judgment. Don't worry about how I'm spending my money, and I'm not worried about how you are spending yours. All right? So don't worry about it. I'm sharing this to be transparent. So don't think that you have to match up to it or that you're doing less or better. It doesn't matter. Nobody's watching that. So just look at it and see what you can learn from it, and hopefully it helps you in some way. So the first category is coaching and training and education. So when I first started my business, I did everything wrong. So I went down the cheap route, the broke route. And so what that meant is that I was using a lot of YouTube content and watching videos and, oh my goodness, attending webinars, reading blog posts, and really trying to piece together free pieces of content here, there, and everywhere. And what I found was that I was actually really selling my time for nothing. And so it took me a long time to make any significant amount of money in my business. In fact, it took me 18 months to start making money, not to hit 6 figures, to start making money. And I boiled this down to a lot of time wasting. Now, I'm not ashamed to share that with you, because when I learned this, the first thing that I did once I decided to really get a grip and start investing in myself, I invested in my first coach. And I will never forget, I was in debt when I invested in this coach. The coaching program, I think, was around 6K or something, and I felt like I would cry blood because it was so expensive in my eyes at that time, and it was just ludicrous. Why would somebody charge such a large amount of money to somebody else who has no money? I'll never forget when I actually made the investment. I started having buyer's remorse before the end of the day after I had cried my eyes out. I sent an email to the coach, and I had all sorts of reasons. I had just had a baby, so of course the coach needed to know that. So I sent an email going, I've just had a baby. I'm so sorry. I've made the wrong investment. Please, can you give me my money back? Expecting that as a woman, she would understand and she would just go, Pam, don't worry. It's okay. I totally understand. Here is your money back, and come back when you are ready. Instead, she sent me a long email telling me about myself and asking me to pull myself together and reminding me that I owe it to my son to get a grip and to make a success of myself. Honestly, I was so disappointed in that coach, but till today, I owe a lot of my success to that first conversation that I had with her, because I then went on to do the program, and that was the beginning of success for me. This is why when I start working with people, or before I start working with them, and they're really struggling with the money mindset, and they're really struggling because they have never made a huge investment in themselves, I get it, I understand it, but that is the very last thing that should hold you back. So I'm asking you today, please do not make the same mistakes as I did. If you're a YouTube person who hops between channels, obviously I love you, keep watching, and I do love you, this is no shade, but I want you to remember that it's so important to invest in yourself. So as well as catching all of the free stuff that you do, make sure that you have concrete investments that you are making, because that is where things really changed for me. So having a coach is absolutely non-negotiable. So you can try to figure it out on your own, but you've got to weigh up time versus money. Money is replenishable, time is not. Those 18 months, I lost them, right? When I could have been making a lot of money and growing my business and having impact, I didn't, right? But when I learned it, I got with the program and I started investing, and my business just shut right up. The second big investment I made at the time was my first expensive course. I've been buying courses anyway, but I'd always bought the cheap ones and all of that, waited for the Black Fridays and all of that. But this one I had to buy, and it was $1,500 at the time, which again, back then I thought it was expensive. Now, obviously I know that it's not. It's chicken change to me, because I've invested way more than that already in my business, as you'll soon find out. So it was a webinar course that I invested in because I thought that I wanted to run webinars. But what I learned from this program wasn't actually about running a webinar, even though that's what it was teaching. What I saw in this program was, I saw how that specific creator, expert, delivered their program. That was what I really felt drawn to seeing. That's not what they were teaching. And sometimes you've got to learn to read between the lines. And I read between the lines, and I figured that what they were doing was the actual product that I had invested in, which was teaching about webinars. The format was from an intensive. So they had created an intensive, and at this intensive, I later learned that the people who attended this intensive live had invested $5,000 for the weekend to attend that intensive. And then I had invested $1,500 to invest in a recording of the intensive. Oh my goodness, this blew me away. And this is the importance of investing in yourself, because if I hadn't have invested in that course, I would not have made that discovery. I would not have known and seen other business models and seen how people are actually doing things. Once I discovered it, I knew that one day I would be running intensives. And guess what? That is one of the biggest things that we do right now, running premium intensives. Again, I would never have discovered that had I not invested. But anyway, that course cost me $1,500. And then moving forward, I invested in more courses, across different things that I needed to learn. So I know that, I remember I invested in courses from people like Amy Porterfield, Russell Brunson, Bushra Azhar, just to name a few. I invested in lots of different courses, and I would total them up to probably around $7,000. And then memberships. Back then, I also started off investing in memberships because I knew that I needed to I wanted to create a membership of my own. We obviously have the Lucrative Business Academy, which is an incredible membership that we run. So I had to learn. And so I invested in around 4 different memberships, and it was costing me around $200 a month. So in total, for my education, just to get started in the early stage, this isn't now, by the way, I spent probably 10 times what I'm about to share with you right now in education. But for when I first got started, my education was around $15,400 to do with that first investment, that first course, a series of courses after that, and the memberships that I joined at the beginning of my journey when I started to invest in myself. So I want you to remember this. If there's anything you're going to take away from this, remember that as a business, your top priority as a business owner is to invest in yourself. Please don't waste time. Time is not replenishable. Money is. The more you invest in yourself, the more money you make in your business. And so it really shortens that time frame. So please go ahead and make sure that you are investing concrete money in your business. Okay, so category number 2, let's move forward, is tools, software, and technology. So again, I struggled to create this list because I'm juggling between what I used to do when I first started against what I do now. And so it's a little bit mixed up, but this is literally the foundation of the tools that I use now and when I first got started. So I've split this into different categories. The first category is website and email. So on website and email, I have my website. So the first thing I did when I started was I got my name, PamObasa.com. I got that and I paid for that. And I think it's $15 per year actually to renew every single year. So not very expensive. Next is web hosting, which comes along with that. We do that with a company called Ionos, ionos.com. That's who I get my web hosting from and domain name from as well. Then we invested in a page builder for WordPress. My website is built on WordPress and we use a theme called Divi. I remember we bought that as a one-time fee for $297 at the beginning of my journey. So that was a one-time fee. Then we use an email platform called Spike, which just connects to all of our emails essentially. And it's very cheap. I think it's like $24 for the entire year. And that helps us to keep track of our emails. We can see not only who has emailed, but we can see that when we email them back, have they read it? Have they opened it? All of these important things. Because if you send an agreement to somebody, for example, you want to know that they have read it, because otherwise you're panicking. You're like, did they get it? You know, did it fall by the wayside? Did they receive it? What do they think? And you're panicking. So I find that I really love being able to look and know, okay, they received it and they've opened it. And so I know how long to give them and how to anticipate their response. And then the email marketing software that I use is called ConvertKit. Now, when I first started using ConvertKit, it was, I think, $29 per month. Now I pay around $119 per month, and we are now going over that threshold, and I think we're moving to $250 per month very, very soon. But all in all, when I started, it was $29 per month. If you're overwhelmed by all the figures and tools and tech and all the things that I'm sharing with you, don't worry. What I have done is I have created a checklist for you of all the tools that we use and how to find them, and a breakdown for how we use each one and how they work. So under this video, you're going to see a link. Click on that, and so that you can grab access to the tools that we use and take a look for yourself, and so that you can start to use them in your business. These are the tools that I use and recommend. So when it comes to tools, software and technology, it comes to a grand total of $1,764 for the year. Still within software, tools and technology, I want to go into sales and marketing and what tools we use for that. So we use ClickFunnels for our funnel builder. We also use deadline funnels for our deadlines. Then we use Thrivecart, which I bought at a one-time fee of $497, and I absolutely love. And then we of course use Zapier. So now for sales and marketing, ClickFunnels is $97 a month, Deadline Funnels is $99 a month, and Zapier is $61.24 per month. So if you look at the annual figure for each of those things plus Thrivecart, it comes to a grand total of $3,584 per year on just sales and marketing. And then another category within software and tools is maintaining a relationship with our clients. So for that, we use something called Schedule Once. Now, when I first started, we used to use Acuity, which was free. But I had to move to Schedule Once because we now have a team, and Schedule Once is $15 per month. So it's not too bad. If you're looking for something free to use, you can definitely use Acuity or Calendly, and they all have a free version with them. We also use a video messaging platform called Zoom, which is where I hold clients meetings on, and I paid $15 a month for that. Again, Zoom has a free option, especially if you're doing just one-on-one coaching. So you can definitely use the free option. When it comes to communicating with clients, especially those who are in our inner circle, I use Voxer to do that. And for that, I don't even pay for it. And then for invoicing and signature, we still have and use Dubsado, which we got grandfathered into a price that they no longer have, but we pay $29 per month for that. And then I use a platform for signatures called SweetDash, which I bought at a one-time fee for $297. So this year specifically, I've been focusing on investing in softwares that have a one-time fee so that we can start to really get a handle on our spend, because these monthly costs, they do mount up. But I promise you that anything that I'm sharing with you, there's always a free option. We just, because of the level that we are right now, I've decided that free isn't always best. So as you grow, make sure that your software and tools and technology, that they grow with you. And it's much more worthwhile for you to pay for something and it run well for you than to depend on something that's free and then it breaks on you later on down the line. That's the way that I look at it. So when it comes to maintaining a relationship with our clients, it costs us a grand total of just $1,005, and that is for the entire year. And then of course, when we work with our clients, we host courses. We have courses and memberships and all of these things. Our courses and memberships are off a platform called Heights, which I really love, and we invested in Heights platform for a one-time fee. I think it was $797 one-time fee, which I love. Prior to this, we were Teachable, and Thinkific, both of which have a free option. So you can get started with them. But we found that when we got into their paid option, we didn't really like the way that Teachable worked at that time, right? Although it is a very, very good platform, right? It is a good platform, but not for what we needed. We wanted it to be more customizable, which we found Thinkific was. So we moved to Thinkific, but we found that the pricing for Thinkific was just, it just wasn't fitting with our budget at that time. So I wanted an option that we had control over and at a price point that we could do conveniently, and that was when we moved to Heights. So when it comes to software and tools, it comes to a grand total of $2,802, but that is spread across an entire year, and some of our softwares and tools are actually a one-time fee, so we don't pay for them over and over and over again, which is a good thing. Now I'm going to move to hiring and team. I'm really big on hiring and team, and I'm not really big on outsourcing to freelancers because I find that they're not really invested in your business. I would rather just bring them into the team, which is a little bit more expensive, but then you have people who are committed to your business. So at the moment I have one full-time team member and one part-time team member, and then I have other team members which I'll explain later on when it comes to partnerships and how that works. So there's myself, there's my husband, and then there are these two other team members who are stable in the business, and then we have our partners. And between the two team members that we have, every single month we invest around $2,500, around about that, for these two team members. So across the year it's £30,000. So one of them is full-time and one of them is part-time and only does a couple of hours here and there, but across the year it works out to around $30,000 for these two team members. Number 4 is accounting and finance. So for accounting and finance, we have an accountant and we also have a bookkeeping. So accountant and bookkeeping are two very different things. Your accountant is sort of higher level. They will do your taxes for you, be there for questions and all of these things, but they won't be doing your bills and expenses and all of these other granular things for you. That is what a bookkeeper does. So you do need both in your business. Now it can be quite pricey to have both of these people. So our accountant is $1,200 for the year, so it's not too bad. But imagine if you had a bookkeeper on top of that, which a lot of businesses have, and I'm not saying it's bad, it's just we don't have a bookkeeper. Instead, we use a software called Xero, which I believe we pay probably $15. I probably could be wrong. My husband looks after all of that part of the business, but I think it's around $15 or $30 per month for Xero. I'm going to stick to 15. But accounting and finance is something that I don't really look into because I look into the growth of the business, whilst my husband handles all of the finances and accounting and all of those other things. So we have our roles. But for accounting and finance, I want to put a budget of around $1,380, so $1,380 for the year for these two people. And then I want to talk about number 5, finally, which is strategic partnerships. And again, don't forget that we have a link where I have listed all of the tools and how you can find them and how we use them and all of that. We spent a lot of time putting that together, so please go ahead and grab it because it took a ton of time and because we wanted you to have the best. So go ahead and look in the description and in the comments area to grab that tool. But our final one that I want to talk about is strategic partnerships. So what are strategic partnerships? Inside of my business, we have strategic partners who help us to grow specific aspects of the business. So we have strategic partners for a client enrollment. So they form part of our sales team, for example. We have strategic partners who are also affiliates for our membership and all of these things. So this is just a way of having an even bigger team without them being permanent in terms of on the payroll. So these strategic partners work off a commission. So strategic partners work on, depending on the commission level, and depending on what part of the business that they are in. So for example, if they are, depending on where they are really, but our strategic partners, it ranges from around 10% to 40%. So 40% is for our lower ticket products, so the memberships, for example, and all of those things. But when it comes to our high ticket products, that actually ranges from 5% to 15%. And so let me share some figures with you. So for example, in our one of our previous launches, we did around $189,000 within a space of 3 days in that launch. So 15% of that is $28,350. Not bad for 3 days work, right? That we are paying out. So strategic partnership is where we actually invest a lot of money into because they are really a part of our team. It's just that the way we invest in them is slightly different to everybody else. So, and that's split between a group of people, not one person. So strategic partnership is one way that you can grow. Now, would it be cheaper to just hire somebody and bring them into the business and just pay them a monthly fee? Yes, it probably would. But to be honest, this is what works for us, and this is why I say that every business is just so different. And I find that when you do it this way, you have, some of these model strategic partnerships, and you have a full-time team members, all of those, it helps you to grow a lot quicker. So I'll give you an example. If I had 5 team members who are full-time, even though the business makes enough money to be able to handle them, I would worry. I would worry because now I have 5 households and 5, families that depend on me, and, I would worry because I would feel like I have a lot of people depending on me, and I'm not quite there yet. We have a day nursery business that has dozens of team members, but I'm not the only one who runs that. So it's a shared load. This is me. So it's quite different. So I find that strategic partnerships, having them as well as our full-time team members, that it helps me. I don't have that much headache. Do you see what I mean? It's based on what we bring in. So if we don't do very well in our launch, then you see my point. I don't have a headache about that. But by the grace of God, we have really incredible launches and everybody's really happy and really well paid. So that's how the strategic partnerships work. And that's actually quite a new part of our business. And who knows, it might be improved as we move forward. I have no idea, but it's working as it is right now. So those are the 5 categories that I have inside of the business, and we are constantly growing and adding team members. Oh, I forgot to mention, we now have a copywriting coach who I didn't even include in this. But anyway, let's look at the grand total. The grand total for this is $83,280. That is the grand total. So can you see how it's actually near 6 figures that we are investing? Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that. 83,280. I had no idea. But you can imagine that the bulk of the income goes to the strategic partners and our team. So it goes to people. But to be honest, I wouldn't change it. We need people. These people are really the people who help me to make it work. So this is incredibly important, and I wouldn't change it. And as long as the business grows, the people will grow. And I'm okay with it. But this is just to share with you that, it's not all profit, right? It's not all profit. Sometimes it is scary. It is scary to have people depending on you, for sure. It's not all profit. And remember, I didn't start there. I didn't start like this. This is what has happened as we have grown. So no 2 businesses are equal. So please don't be intimidated or overwhelmed, or start thinking, where am I going to get $83,000 to actually sustain my business? It doesn't work that way. When I first started, it was just me. It was just me in the business. My husband was doing his own thing. I didn't have a team. I didn't have a VA. I had nobody. It was literally just Pam, right? But as I grew and I grew up, I understood that you need people. No woman is an island. And I had to figure out ways. In fact, the very first team member, the first time I had somebody full-time, oh my God, my heart was pounding because they were actually making more money in the business than me. All the money that came in went into paying them, right? But I didn't care. Well, I did care, but I knew I needed them because I've got very young children and I barely had any time to do anything. So I knew I needed them. And one thing that it did for me is I knew, and I said to myself, Pam, if you can make ends meet to pay this person, you can really scale this business. And so paying them almost became my motivation. So I wasn't doing it begrudgingly or scared to pay. Well, I was scared to pay them, to be quite frank. But, it made me have skin in the game because it wasn't just about me and my family and my children. I knew there was another family that was now depending on me. And so every month I had to make sure they were paid. And most months they were actually paid and I wasn't, right? And this is something that I don't even share with my team members because that happened for a very, very long time. But having them is what forced me to grow up quicker, right? To grow my business quickly and to understand how to really make money, how to make bigger offers, how to show up in a way that people love, people resonate with, and that people have bought into me. But it wasn't done overnight. So if there's anything to take away from this, please remember, it's not done overnight. I'm very grateful. Sometimes I'm just like, please don't pinch me and wake me up. Like, I'm loving this dreamland, because I promise you, I know what it's like not to be here, and I don't want to go back there. But it didn't happen overnight. It's taken a lot of hard work, a lot of tears, and a lot of sweat. But I promise you that you will get there. You will get there. If I can get there, you can. Trust me. So anyhow, if this is your first time watching any one of my videos, I want to say thank you so much for watching. And to you who are returning, thank you so much. I love you all. I still can't believe this is how much I'm spending in my business every year, 6 figures to run the business. But hey, you know, it's great and I love it, and I feel very blessed to be doing what I do. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please go ahead and make sure that you do. I would really appreciate it. Turn on the bell. We release a video twice every single week, unfailingly. And once you turn on the bell, you will never miss a thing, which is a good thing, right? So like this video and please share it, because I think this is worth sharing. So please go ahead and do that. And comment below. Do you have any questions? Do you have anything you want me to know? Any questions you want me to answer? Please let me know. And don't forget the free gifts that we have for you, which is in the links in the description section and of course in the comments. Thank you. God bless.